Good morning, Yankees Nation. This is Ken, and you're here with the ugly truth. Today's live stream is going to be pretty much unscripted. I'm going to do a little bit of talking about the events of last night, and then I'm going to hop in, let the open panel shine, and let folks come up and give us your thoughts. Going to give a shout out to the folks that are here this morning. CT Cards, Jonathan, Lou, Sean Browning, Stephen B, Lou, and FJ. Thank you for hopping into the stream and supporting this channel. I see Cold Italian Pizza hopping on. Welcome, brother. So and we see Graham hopping in here. Hey, Graham, welcome. Appreciate the support. You too, Dev. Let's talk about a couple of things. Last night's game we streamed here on The Ugly Truth. Had Joe with me from NY Yankees Mania, and it was definitely an up and down game. The Yankees had a little bit of humor in the game, a little bit of tragedy in the game. We started out with Clark Schmidt giving up a bomb to J-Rod in the first inning, and a couple innings later, Trent Grisham hits a home run, but not before it ricochets off the top of J-Rod's glove. Through the first 5 innings, Clark Schmidt only gave up 2 hits. Unfortunately, both of them were breaking balls that sat right in the middle of the plate and got driven out of the stadium. Schmidt ended up doing a really, really good job last night. He ended up going 6 innings for us. He actually faced a batter in the 7th and gave up a double. That's when he got pulled. But Schmidt only gave up 3 hits, 3 earned runs, walked 2 batters, and struck out 6. So not a bad outing overall, and it looks that Schmidt may be stretched out and is going to show us the Clark Schmidt of old that we're used to seeing. Obviously, his first 3 starts this season were basically an extension of a spring training for him. He only had 2 rehab starts down at AA Somerset. And, you know, the way that our rotation was pitching, we definitely needed help. And Clark has shown that we can have at least 3 decent pitchers. We've had Yarbrough brought into what would have been classed as an opener role. He went 5 last game that he pitched. He's stretching out. He's a former starter, so it's not something that's unfamiliar territory for him. And he could easily take our fifth spot. Hell of a lot more productivity than we saw from Carlos Carrasco, who we ended up subsequently DFAing. He passed through waivers and is now down there at AAA Scranton off the 40-man roster, and possibly a return venture in an emergency situation for us. And, of course, the infamous Marcus Stroman, who has a knee injury. He's tried throwing off it, still experiencing pains. The odds of Stroman making his 140 inning count to vest his 3rd-year option is probably almost non-existent. And I would be surprised if we actually saw Stroman back in pinstripes for the remainder of the season. We had the hit parade go. The boys have shown a bounce back and a spring in their step that we haven't seen since last year, early in the season. Uh, Last night we had every actual player that went up to bat got at least one hit. The Yankees ended up totaling 15 hits. We beat the Mariners 11-5, and the situation. I see John the Beagle Dad has hopped in. Welcome, John. Uh, the hitting has started to become more consistent. We're getting at least decent at bats with situational hitting, and the team looks to be gelling. The veterans are playing to form. Cody Bellinger had a slow start to the season, and he is starting to turn the corner. Paul Goldschmidt has been fantastic the entire season, and if you look at Aaron Judge, he is just momentous. Yankee fans like to complain about a lot of things, but when I think you're looking at Aaron Judge, there's not really anything to complain about. When you're pulling his stats of all-time great Yankees, a lot of people are ranking Judge third all-time behind the Babe and the Iron Horse Lou Gehrig. So when your name is being mentioned in those conversations, you know you're seeing something very special, and fans should take a moment to recognize what we have before our eyes. Last night's game proved my point that I've expressed several times in various streams, that the Yankees are fantastic at beating the crap out of average and below tier pitchers. Well, tonight we're not going to face that. On the bump, the Mariners have Brian Wu pitching. It's somebody that the Yankees have looked to try to acquire for several seasons. He is their staff ace this year. Wu was 4-1, 3.25 ERA, and he's got 44 strikeouts. The guy throws a bunch of pitches. Most of them are fastball variants. But he does not give up a ton of runs. His last outing was against the A's, and I think they beat him up for a little bit. But his his previous two starts were wins, and he pitched fantastic. I think he gave up no earned runs in one outing and two in the other, and he's averaging about 8 Ks. The Yankees have had issues when we faced tier 1 pitchers and tend to strike out a ton. And we have also had not a lot of success putting runs across the plate. Is that going to be the case tonight? Well, we will have to see on that one. But on our half, we have our ace, Max Fried, up on the bump. In the 8 starts that Fried has this season, we have scored and won in every one of those starts. Although Fried didn't get a decision his last outing, the Yankees did pull the win off. Fried went 7 innings, gave up 4 or 5 hits, I think, didn't walk anybody, only gave up 1 earned run, and he struck out 8, which is high for him. What happens today? We were exuberant last night during my play-by-play with Joe from NY Yankees Mania until the 9th. Yankees were up 10-5. Oswaldo Cabrera was on third base. Aaron Judge hit a fly ball to fairly deep right field. Leody Taveras came down and he fired a rocket. Oswaldo tried to avoid the tag. Something happened. He went down. He was able to get to the crawl to the plate. He obviously couldn't stand. The one thing that I commend the Yes Network and their broadcast stream last night is we did not see continuing replays of the injury that occurred to Oswaldo. Don't think that it's appropriate. I mean, hell, they carted the man off the field in an ambulance. From my perspective, we got real quick. The team gathered around Oswaldo. You could tell that he was in a hell of a lot of pain. When he was carted off, you could see that they put him on a backboard and they immobilized his, I believe it was his left leg. And from the initial play, when I saw it, I thought that something had happened to his ankle. We haven't had any true confirmations from the team on what exactly is going on with regard to the status of Oswaldo's injury, but I think it's safe to say that his season is probably over with. We do have DJ LeMahieu returning, and he's coming straight out of rehab starts. He's been looking pretty good down there at Somerset and at Scranton. So looks like he has a little bit of pop, a little bit of mobility. Initially, I think the plan was going to be that DJ was going to take over at second base with Oswaldo going down. He's probably headed for he will be heading to an IL stint. And I think that's probably the roster move that ends up getting made to put DJ on the 26. And I think that DJ is going to end up playing third base for us for the foreseeable future. We'll have the opportunity for Pablo Reyes, Oswald Peraza, and Yorbit Vivas to take this amount of reps at second base. Definitely, the loss of Cabrera is going to impact this team and this lineup immediately and heading towards the postseason. Cabrera is one of those types of players. I've always seen his value as a super utility guy because he has the ability to play all over the field. The only position that he has not played as a professional is catcher. So that should tell you right there that he has a fantastic skill set. The kid never looks like he is unhappy. You never see him without a smile on his face, and he is a contributor on the field and off the field. A lot of people in post-game interviews mentioned that Oswaldo is the heart of the team, and I can believe that wholeheartedly. All right, so I've gone over I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping. I want to thank everybody for hopping in. If you haven't, please hit the like button. If you're not, please subscribe. I see that the chat has got some interesting conversations going on, and we'll address some of those here in a bit. But I am going to open us up for the open panel and bring people up. And as on the thumbnail that you saw, let's talk baseball. Doesn't have to be Yankee centric. It can be around the league. There's some definitely interesting topics to consider. Right now, our Yankees are sitting 24-17. We have a 3-game lead in the East over the Red Sox. in our last 10, we're 6-4. Since the Padres series, the team has been playing playing inspired ball. They looks like the rookies are starting to understand what the Yankee way actually is. Dominguez, Lou, the Mariners are going to have Brian Wu as their pitcher, and Max Fried is going to be our pitcher. So it's going to be ace on ace, and be prepared for a gunfight. And this is a very good one from Graham. I hope no fans start chanting for Lombard. He's not ready. Yeah, if everything lines up correctly, Fried will pitch in the Mets series. So, we have a tough schedule for this month. We're on the first of two West Coast legs. After we finish this series in Seattle, we'll head back to the Bronx and play the Mets in another Subway series, or in the first Subway series of the season. Then the Rangers come to town, and the Rangers, although they have been slumping, they're an even 500. That is a team that is comprised of a lot of speed and a lot of power. And when they break out hard. So that series is not going to be an easy one for us. And then after the Rangers, let me take a look here. I don't know if we have another set or if we're heading to the West Coast once again. Those of you that follow NFE on the strike zone, the first leg of the second trip is going to be in Colorado. Colorado hasn't been a very good team this season. I see I have my brother Sean sitting in the background, and I'm going to add him. Hey, Sean, welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
Best as can be expected. All right, let's see. Yep, we have Texas. Then we're off on the road for the second leg of our West Coast trip, which will start in Colorado, NFE, and some of the subscribers are going to be meeting up at the stadium to watch the games there in real life. So that should be a fun event, especially with content creator getting to meet some of the folks that participate in the streams. Then we had to play the Angels and close out that road trip with a 3-game run against the Los Angeles Dodgers. So it'll be the World Series rematch. And like I said, it is a tough month for the Yankees with regard to schedules. Sean? Are you there? Are you frozen?
There you go. Sorry, I don't know what happened, but yeah, no, it's a tough thing, and we're starting to click offensively at the right time. This the baton, keep the line moving, consistent, grind out that. It's nice to see. We just got to keep it going all season long. Can't just be streaky and then go back to the way we were in the beginning of the season.
All right. It looks like we've lost Sean for a second. Some of the things for me this season, the The NL West is supposed to be the power division in baseball. Currently, the Dodgers lead the NL West by a game and a half over the Padres. Uh, as and the Yankees, they can thank the Yankees for part of that lead since we took the Padres 2 out of 3 when they were here in the Bronx. 3.5 behind them is the San Francisco Giants, and then 5.5 is the Arizona Diamondbacks. All very good quality teams. And then they have the Colorado Rockies taking up hind tit, and they are a horrible 7-34. So hopefully our trip to Colorado is a 3-game sweep because they are just playing terrible. They don't have good pitching, and there are issues up and down that lineup. Could it be an audition for their third baseman to possibly be a trade candidate to come to the Bronx, especially with this injury to Oswaldo? Is Hal going to open up the checkbook and bring any players in? Is there a need? Go ahead, Sean. You were talking before you froze up and bounced.
Yeah. No, I was saying one thing is I'm loving the way that our lineup is consistently done this pass baton. Keep the line moving, grind out every at bat, and we get a few big innings a little more consistently versus the way it was early on in the season where we would score 12 runs one game and then lay a goose egg the next, and I mean, there's still things we got to improve on, but overall, the mentality 1 through 9, and it's not just Aaron Judge and nobody else, Aaron Judge and Goldschmidt and nobody else like it's been the last few years. It was Judge and Soto last year and a bunch of holes.
The dynamics of this team have changed. Okay, we seem to be having a little bit more problems. The dynamics of this team has changed drastically, with regard to the Yankees with Soto vice the Yankees without Soto. He has enabled us to fill holes that we didn't have last year. All right, we see some trade talk coming in. We'll start with Graham. As for starters, I'd personally be looking at Peralta. He can pitch and give length, not with the Bucks being crap. Wonder if, or with the Bucks being crap, wonder if they would move Paul Skeens. There's not a chance in hell that they're going to move Paul Skeens. Although Skeens has shown some chinks in his armor, and he's lost his last 2 starts. All right, Sean, he says that StreamYard has kicked him out. If you give it one more try, we'll see if we can get you up here. Cold Italian Pizza brings up, asked Boston to trade Devers to the Yankees. Well, Devers is definitely a talented player, and Garrett Cole would probably be willing to chunk some of his salary. The issue that we have with Devers is he's not a great third baseman, and our team is built on defense. The secondary is that Devers just signed a 10-year contract with the Red Sox for over $300 million. So, you're looking at a $30 million contract per season. And personally, I think the back end of that contract is going to be bad. We'll end up, if we were to break him on, it would be Stanton 2.0 with not a true position to play. He's been resistant to being a DH, and he refuses to play first base. The only place he wants to be on the field is at third. And would that truly disrupt team chemistry for the Yankees? I tend to think that it would. And let's see, Stephen B. No on Arenado. Don't want that contract on a declining player. And I see that Sean is back, so we will give it a shot one more time.
Yeah. No, sorry, but I don't know what happened. It just kind of like kicked me out since something went wrong, error and whatever. But then it lets me back on, and I don't know.
All right. So, have you been paying attention to some of the trade talks that's
Yeah,
being suggested?
I saw that they were talking about the Devers, asking for Devers. The Arenado thing is, I mean, yeah, he's playing a more resurgent year, or Arenado, but I don't know. We really want Devers. I mean, what is Devers gonna do? I mean, Devers could play third for us. That would be something. But would that mess with the team chemistry? With his
And
beef with Cole?
we have Joe from NY Yankee Mania joining us in the stream. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you being here. Bring up a comment from Lou. If we're not going for Tucker, I want to sign Zach or Dylan in the off season.
Is she talking about Zach Gallen?
Yeah, that's what Dylan Cease and Zach Gallen, two of the tier 1 pitchers that will be available at the trade deadline. Well, maybe depending on how bad their teams are doing. The other one to consider would be Framber Valdez from the Astros.
Yeah.
The Astros are playing like doo-doo. And
Framber's been pitching. But yeah, I would go for Zach Gallen. Because the dude is a rotation.
And we have a comment from Merck So Saucy. Would love to see Ryan McMahon at third base. And he was the Rocky that I was thinking that he may be auditioning for the Yankees. All right, and I'm going to once again drop the link for coming up on our open panel. It looks like Sean is frozen once again, so I'm going to drop him down. Set. FJ, bringing up FJ's comments. McMahon is having a terrible year, though. Possibly at the plate, possibly with team chemistry. Could McMahon use a change of environment? He was protected last season and was not available at the trade deadline. Not so sure that will be the case at this season, and a change of venue may actually serve McMahon well. And he's having a rough year at the plate, but his glove work is still very good. My preference to bring in would be the Cardinals' Brendan Donovan, but not so sure that he'll actually be available, especially with the Cards and the incredible streak that they have had. They've won, I think, their last 9 games, and they've forced their way to the top of the NL Central. Sean, welcome back.
Sorry, it just dropped without. I guess there's some storms coming through, or I don't know, or something with you know how it is.
As a matter of fact, it's rated like hell here. Uh,
Yeah.
and a comment from Graham: Can McMahon play in the Bronx? I don't know, but I guess we'll see.
I mean, that's the $1 million question. Is I mean, but then you got to ask that with anyone. I mean, could Gallon and play in the Bronx? Consistent, you know.
Well, I don't know the one appearance that Zach had in the Bronx. He struck out 13, held us blanked
Oh yeah.
amongst boos from the fans, and uh, he faced one of the number one ranked offenses in baseball, and he handled us pretty well. And if he
Oh
comes
yeah.
out with that fire uh, as a Yankee, I don't see any issues.
Yeah. And I mean, that would be, and that's why one of the reasons I would go for him. If I would go for any free agent starter, it'd be Zach Gallen, number one. Just because I mean, just imagining if we had a Cole, Free, uh, Gallen, Rodon, Hill rotation.
I would have suspected that you would have said uh, Michael King, bringing him on.
Yeah, I mean, King would be another one I would want to, but if you had your own choice between Gallen and King, and the whole thing with King too is King's pitching phenomenally, but would he want to come back to the team that traded him? I mean,
All right. And we see that real Bill P has jumped in uh, to the stream. Hey guys, I'm listening to the show. I'll be back tonight for the game. Be safe, take care, and go Yankees.
because I mean, you look at some of these guys that we've brought in, both free agent, whether the pitchers or over the years, whether pitchers or hitters, that yeah, they did great and they did great against us. But then as soon as they put the pinstripes on, they they struggle.
All right, Lou, we don't know what Cole we get back. King not coming back. I'd rather the other two. It's fair enough. We do know uh, that Garrett Cole on his schedule will start a light throwing program in August. And with the way that it's tracking, he should be uh, available in spring training.
Well, and who knows, Cole could win another Cy Young. I mean, Verlander came back at his old age from Tommy John, the second Tommy John, and won a Cy Young. So
Well, I will tell you, Verlander, I saw Verlander pitch when he was in college. He was at a private college in the local area, Old Dominion University, the same one that two of my kids graduated from. And we would take in some of the ODU games. And even as a collegiate athlete in a Division II school, he was a standout pitcher.
right,
He's taken that work ethic his entire career. Uh, and the thing to look, depending on how many seasons they squeeze out of Verlander, Verlander could be the last true 300 game winner that baseball will ever see.
yeah. I think if
So,
anyone has a shot at getting 300 wins in a career, is Verlander. Because I mean, players, wins aren't as valued nowadays like it used to be. Also, you don't see a lot of pitchers have the same longevity.
definitely two facts of life.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, look how long it took Roger Clemens to get his 300.
Yep. Detroit, they're in the Central. They're in the number one slot, and they have been playing some incredible ball. They're on a 7-3 run, and I think that come postseason time, if we match up with them once again, we're going to have our hands full. And Gleyber Torres has been breaking out there with Detroit, so it'll be interesting to match up with them again.
Yeah, it will be. Especially, we were kind of flat when we faced them, but but yeah, it would just be interesting to see how it is. And think of this though, the way Detroit's looking, and early on, Detroit is probably most likely going to be one of the teams we face in the ALCS. If we make it there, they're definitely going to be a playoff team.
Yep. And the team that we have coming up in the next series, the Mets. The Mets have been playing some incredible baseball on their own. Looks like that Juan Soto is coming back to form and has been hitting multiple home runs in several games. So it should be interesting to see how the fans react when Soto returns this coming weekend. What I'm hoping not to see is any massive stupidity, people throwing shit from the stands at him.
Yeah. And you're gonna have some stupid fans, but yeah, I hope that it doesn't. No one's throwing anything onto the field. I mean, just leave it to boos. If you're gonna boo, boo, but don't be throwing stuff. If you're gonna fight with someone, fight with another fan in the stands, away from the field. I mean, I get it, but yeah, it's just because I went to a Yankees Red Sox game in 2003, Memorial Day, at the stadium, at old Yankee Stadium. It was when Roger Clemens was going for his 300th win, and we lost it. But I mean, I was like way out in left field, and I remember they were like Yankees and Red Sox calling and like hitting each other with beer bottles, but we're both drunk. I was like, at least it's away from the field, where you weren't worried about one of them topping over or stuff going onto the field and interfering with the play.
Couple of notes. Lou's opinion, they should cheer him for the year he gave us. Don't disagree with you there.
I think the first time he comes up to the plate at Yankee Stadium, give him a round of applause, a standing O, and then after that, you can boo him,
And then Graham, this is something that I subscribe to. The Mets might run into pitching issues. I don't think that the run that they are on is sustainable, and the back end of their rotation is very unstable.
Yeah, and then
you can't tell what you're going to get out of Diaz from night to night whenever he's there.
Yeah.
Another note from Graham is that Paul Skeens announced that he will pitch for Team USA.
That's awesome. Yeah, and then the other thing too is they took a risk converting Holmes into a starter, but then I mean I understand it, but at some point he's gonna come back down to earth, and he's been pitching out of his mind, and I'm not taking that away from him. But I mean, we've seen how he was chaotic as a reliever.
Well, with regard to Clay, he spent the last 6 seasons being a reliever. He pitches probably about 50 to 60 innings a year. and the weight of being a starter is going to carry his number well past that. Will he suffer fatigue? I tend to think that he will, and
then
when his pitches start not breaking as much, and he starts leaving things out over the plate, he'll start walking batters like he did as our closer last year. Good things don't happen for him.
no. Well, and then we've seen it with Nestor Cortez. King converted well, smoothly. Hats off to him, but Cortez, he pitched double his career innings in one season when he became a full-time starter. And then the next year, he was phenomenal in 22 or whatever it was. And then the next year, he ended up having shoulder issues and never fully recovered from that. And as the jerky guy, that Nestor was with all the motions and all the little things he did, he needed his joints, especially his shoulder, and then So.
All right, we are about 40 minutes into the stream, and I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping. We have Joe from NY Yankees Mania and NFE going to be on Jason's 161 River Ave stream at 4:30. Talk about some of the Oswaldo Cabrera stuff, implications of what that means to the Yankee future, and adjustments that we may have to make. So I recommend everybody hopping in that show at 8:30 p.m. on this evening. Joe at NY Yankees Mania is going to end up hosting the pregame show for tonight's matchup. He's not going to be able to jump on the stream with me. I will be calling the play-by-play for the Game 2 Yankees versus Mariners. And Stephen B. says that Hector will be at Uptown Sports, will be on at 12. So another good stream to jump into.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get much information now on Oswaldo. It's only 7, 8 over there in Seattle. But we'll probably know something in the afternoon as far as updates with Cabrera. And I'm praying for it. Praying for, him to have a speedy recovery. And, even if it did kind of look like it could be a season-ending injury, unfortunately. But, the guy's the heart of the team, one of the guys that's contagious, always does everything right, plays hard. You could see the way that, players are around him, the energy he carries about him, and on the field, off the field, that, he's one of those guys that just helps keep people motivated,
Okay, we have a note here from Graham. We have to go get a high-end arm for the rotation. Don't count on Hill being back and being anything like he was last year. Okay.
Hill is unfortunately, he's been having this injury setbacks the last few years. Go ahead.
And a note from Stephen B. Thank you. Johnny Brito, former Yankee farmhand, is having UCL surgery for the Padres.
Yep. Yeah, unfortunately. Tommy John is so common now with pitchers.
And then Graham, I don't want to be the harbinger of doom. That could be career-ending injury. And a comment from a new person hopping in the stream, Victor Manuel Meter Nunez. Aaron Judge is undoubtedly the best player in the league since Albert Pujols, without a doubt.
Oh, and you notice one of the two players that Judge keeps saying that he's trying to be like, or play like, emulate, was Miggy Cabrera and Albert Pujols, modern guys. Like when you hear Judge, not trying to beat him, but trying to be that high average, not just a slugger.
The Pujols, his first 10 seasons as a Cardinal were off the chart. I mean, he was putting up numbers, compared to the players of that time that Judge is doing now.
Yeah, Pujols was putting numbers that Big Mac was doing before he got on the steroids. I mean, roids.
And that's one of the things Yankee fans complain about a lot, but I think that they should step back and take a look at what we're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that has aggravated me for a long while is that there's always talk about the generational players, and Aaron Judge doesn't seem to ever get mentioned in that realm.
No.
Judge is a serious plus defender, and I think that he should have already had a Gold Glove in right field.
Oh yeah,
and but he doesn't. But at the dish, oh my God, just incredible stuff. And Yankee fans should sit back and.
I mean, well, and then Brian Kenny on MLB Network does that thinking show, the MLB Now, with all the stats he does.
Yep.
He had like one show a while ago where he broke it down, non-steroid years, right? Non-steroid stats, players, great years. Well, Aaron Judge, I think 2024, and then his 22. Those 2 years were sandwiched between Mickey Mantle. Judge on top with 24 last year. And then Mickey's 50, the mixed 56 and 57 years were right under. And then you had Aaron Judge's 2022. That's just telling. And then now you look at what he's doing now in 2025 so far. He's like above what he was doing in the last 2 seasons that he won the MVP.
I will tell you, I'm not a big analytics guy. I haven't been a big fan of it, but anybody who has a plus 10 WAR for a season, that would be considered a career season.
Right.
Aaron Judge has 2 10.8 WAR seasons, 22 and 24. I did some bean counting work. Oh, and had he not been injured for a good portion of the 23 season, he would have hit over 50 home runs in that season.
Oh, no doubt about it.
But you look at Judge. Judge has like 329 home runs. He's got 7 years remaining on his contract. So if Judge only hits 25 home runs for each season for the remaining years on his contract, he's going to break the 500 home run mark.
Oh, no doubt.
That the Judge is, if he was to retire tomorrow, he would be a Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. I could see Judge being in the 600s easily with career home runs by the time he hangs it up. But, because, you're looking at this guy, he's still not in his prime, but he's 33. He's in his prime, but you know what I mean? He's not like, he hasn't reached his peak.
Well, if you look at Paul Goldschmidt is 37. He's hitting in the 340s. His numbers are comparable to his 23 MVP season. And I think
Yeah.
that Paul, if he continues his run, he's going to end up pulling MVP votes this season too.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. I mean, we're going to see probably a 1-2 finish in the Yankees, probably finishing 1-2 in the MVP votes. I mean, but Goldschmidt,
I
is.
I will tell you that the Yankees are going to have some dilemmas to deal with this coming off season because we're going to end up having Luke Dreamweaver, our present closer, going into the free agent market unless we can extend him beforehand. You have Devin Williams, so the two big arms on the back end of the rotation or the bullpen are going to be free agents.
Yeah.
Paul Goldschmidt is going to be a free agent. Do we re-sign him and bring him back? It's hard to say. You know, you have Ben Rice emerging as a talent.
Yeah, and then but you also got, and then you got Trent Grisham, who's going to be a free agent. Do you bring him on another steal of a deal, or do you bring him, Spencer Jones?
If you look at Grisham, if Grisham was to play on any other squad, he's the everyday starting center fielder.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
And with Grishbaum's performance this year, he's going to make bank. I don't really see him coming back. We do have outfield options. A lot of fans are subscribing that we should go after Tucker. He's going to command a $500 million plus deal in the off season.
No, I mean, yeah, he's going to be another 500. But then here's the thing: if Spencer Jones keeps developing the way he is right now, and keeps cutting down those strikeouts, he could be ready by next year, and coming out of spring.
I can see that. In my opinion, that Jones gets a promotion to AAA Scranton probably around the All-Star break or so, and may be one of the two players that we call up at the September call-ups. Answer a question for Graham. Ken, don't you think if Goldie keeps doing what he's doing, will he be wearing pinstripes next year? I personally would have absolutely no heartburn about that whatsoever. But you have Murakami, who's coming to be posted this coming off season, and that's somebody who has said that he would like to play in pinstripes. Whether that's a ploy to raise his earning, he's one. You're going to have the first baseman that is with the Diamondbacks right now, Josh Naylor, who is hitting over 300. Incredible power. He's doing very well. He'll be available in the off season. My personal gut instinct is that Alonso is going to tell the Mets to go stick it, and he's gonna opt out of his contract, so he'll be available out there. The big target has been Vlad Guerrero Jr., and he signed that extension, so he's not going anywhere. So there are going to be options at first base, and an older Carlos Santana will also be available. So there are 4/5 players to be considered, and like I said, you've got to look and define Ben Rice's spot in our lineup.
Right.
Is he going to be our everyday first baseman?
And then you got Bellinger. I know Bellinger's mainly been playing the outfield, but he can also do first base. And if we end up bringing the kid, do you want to keep platooning Bellinger and Jones next year in center field. But then, yeah, I mean, there's so much different things. I mean, and then we got DJ. What are we going to do with DJ next year? Because we still going to have him on the team.
Well, I have the sneaking suspicion that if DJ doesn't perform at this level, that he will be DFA'd before the season is over with.
Yeah, if he keeps regressing, I believe that too. But if he shows some kind of resurgence back to the batting champ, DJ LeMahieu, Love Machine returns, they may try to ride him out one more year.
Well,
Knowing Cashman.
time is going to be the time will tell with regard to DJ and how the rest of the team lines up.
Right. And then the whole Murakami, you know that so many people are going to already pay him to be, even though they got a long-term contract with Freeman at first, they're already going to put Murakami in Dodger blue, because that's Team Japan, as everybody says.
Well, the thing that you have to look at with regard to Murakami is he has positional diversity. He is also a solid third baseman. And Max Muncy is in his walk year of his deal in LA. And he's 34, and I don't really see the Dodgers bringing him back on a deal. Could he come to the Bronx and be our third baseman? I don't know.
Could be.
Maybe on a short-term deal. But I have the sneaking suspicion that they don't want anything long-term because Lombard Jr. is probably going to end up being our long-term third baseman and part of the core that we're trying to move forward with.
But yeah, what I love in Murakami, if we manage to get Murakami to play in the Bronx, yes, but like you said, I think that they're not going to do too many long deals as far as position players because Hal and Cashman are already kind of showing that they're intending to play these kids prospects. I mean, with Dominguez, Volpe, Lombard, even Spencer Jones. So you're not going to see too many long deals with free agent position players.
If you look at the Yankees for 2026, our estimated payroll right now is 280 million. So that puts us right next to the second level of the threshold, talking 20 million below the Cohen threshold. So there's not a lot of readily available cash available unless players get moved.
Right.
So me personally, looking at the trade deadline, I would not anticipate that we are going to trade for a high-end pitcher. The cost of those guys is incredibly high. And honestly, the teams that are looking for high-end pitchers have more prospect capital than the Yankees do. So I don't see us being able to compete there. I think if we pick somebody up, it's possibly going to be a fringe infielder, somebody who has the ability to play second and third. Who knows? Jazz may come back, snap into shape, and start actually being a station hitter. But as I've said probably 100 times, Jazz is Jazz. Great defensive glove, has some pop in his bat, tends to fall in love with the home run ball, and strikes out a ton. And when he's on the base, his speed is second to none. So
yeah,
take for it what you will.
Yeah, it's
Would you consider Peralta? You're talking Freddie from the Brewers. In a trade scenario, there are plenty of holes that the Brewers have. Most of them are dealing with arms. Uh, and we could part with some arms to possibly make that trade happen. Uh, and would I be surprised if the Yankees traded for Peralta? Probably not. He would be one of very few targets that I think that the Yankees could actually acquire. Uh, a lot of people are talking about Sandy Alcantara, and I will tell you that the Marlins may trade him, but it's going to cost a king's ransom to get him.
Yeah.
And honestly, do you want to trade for a guy who's coming off of Tommy John surgery and has an 8.41 ERA, regardless of what would be considered his high end mark? Because obviously he's not going to reach it this season, and our need is this season.
Right. And also the other thing with Sandy Alcantara, yes, he has an electric arm, but he's often injured. The Tommy John he had last year that he just came back from is not the only injury concern he had. He had shoulder issues and other issues, and we're already going through that with Hill. So then,
The thing,
I mean, do you really want that? I wouldn't. I'd rather go get a guy that can help us out if we can trade, and we don't have to give up a king's ransom for, and then boom, he's going to be spending most of the time on the injured list. We went through that with Frankie Montas a couple years ago.
the infamous Frankie Montas trade.
So I mean, no, Sandy Alcantara is a great pitcher, but like I said, it's just he's been riddled with injuries since he came up.
Comment from FJ: wouldn't Alcantara's poor performance as far limit what the Marlins will get for him? I don't believe so, and this is why. They're moving Alcantara, who is running about, I want to say, $8 million in contract, is very affordable comparatively for a guy who has an upside to be a 1 or 2 pitcher. The second thing is you're going to end up with 3 years of controllability. And the controllability means that you keep costs down for a player like that. Whether his 3 years are crap or not, he is going to be a pitcher that can offer the ability to eat innings. And in the name of the game today, with pitchers only pitching 5, starting pitchers only pitching 5, sometimes 6, that's something that is very, very attractive, especially to teams that would be mid-market and smaller, to lock up a potential number 1 pitcher with 3 years of controllability. It'll be 2.5 years of controllability.
But yeah, but then you know that the Marlins are going to ask for a ransom for this guy. That's their ace. And, I mean, look at when they traded Jesus Luzardo a couple years ago.
It was this offseason.
Or this offseason. They got a pretty big package for him. Then that other guy that came from the Marlins that was traded to the Twins. It was like their ace.
Well, the Marlins moved a bunch of bullpen arms. I mean, they moved AJ Puck to the Diamondbacks, and the Diamondbacks didn't really pay a hell of a lot for him, and he's basically their closer. You have to look at Tanner Scott, the King's ransom that they got at the trade deadline for him.
Right.
A 3-month rental for their number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and 25th prospects. I mean, The Padres basically cleaned the shelves for a guy that was a 2.5 month rental.
Right.
And then he ended up signing with the goddamn Dodgers. Go figure. But
And
and the other thing to consider, regardless of how crappy everyone thinks that the Yankee farm system is, the Yankees pay a tax. It's called the Yankee tax every time we make a trade. And whenever we start negotiations up with a team, our top tier players are on the asking block. So
yeah.
are we willing to part with a player like Spencer Jones, George Lombard Jr.? Yeah, I think that's Grandma's right. You're talking about Lopez that went to the Twins.
Yeah, that was who I was. I just thank you, Graham. For whatever reason I was spacing on his name.
But the long and short, are we willing to sacrifice some of our future core players to bring in a temporary placeholder to compete in the postseason? And I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
So Yankee fans will, in typical fashion, be demanding the top starter that's available at the trade deadline. And that's another thing too, with the way that we've added wild card spots and changed the playoff format, and the parity that's starting to form within the league, teams are staying competitive for a longer run for the postseason. So it's not clearly defined who is actually going to be a seller, and the buyer's market tends to open up a bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those guys that are selling are going to be at premium.
Yeah, you're looking at White Sox, but we don't know how much of a fire sale they're gonna have this year. Um, the Brewers, the Rockies, the Marlins. Yeah, you don't know who's gonna really be selling because like the whole league is competitive. They're right around. I mean, there's 3 or 4 team races in each of the divisions.
Okay, fellas, we have capped the 1 hour mark, and I'm going to be signing off. But before I sign off, I want to thank Sean for hopping up and contributing to the stream as always. Sorry we had those technical difficulties, but glad to have you on the stream. We have, like I said earlier, the pregame show at NY Yankees Mania with Joe and myself uh, doing the pregame, followed up by a short break, and we will be back here on Yankees The Ugly Truth for the play-by-play for Game 2 of the Yankees versus the Mariners. It lines up to be a great pitchers duel, and the Yankees have done some incredible hitting 4 out of the last 6 games, eclipsing over 10 hits and 10 runs. Hopefully, I'm not anticipating 10 hits and 10 runs, but I'm anticipating a Yankee win. For those of you that are here and watching in the shadows, if you haven't, please hit the like. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Share this channel out with your friends, your family, your neighbors, your cats, your dogs. We're at, I want to say, 88 subscribers, I think, and would like to hit that 100 mark sometime this century. So, and as I always say, the program is here and does what it does because of y'all. Y'all make our stream more successful. Last words, Sean?
Yeah, no, I mean, but thanks for having me on, and I apologize for the whole technical difficulties, but I'm glad they worked through and it didn't keep, happening. But and also thoughts and prayers are to Cabrera and however it goes on, but also the Yankees. Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna have fun watching, and let's just appreciate what we're seeing from the Yankees right now this season. Not just from what we see with Judge, but with everyone, because You know how these seasons go. It's a marathon.
Indeed, it is. And I'm going to end with my customary let's go Yankees. Salute you out, and hopefully we'll see you in the pregame and the play-by-play. Have a great afternoon, and we will talk at you later. See you in the funny pages.